Concord is the classic modern-day example of a disaster designed by committee. I mean, we've talked about the dwindling player base ad nauseum, but I gotta stop and wonder, okay, when you never really hit a peak, when you never really crossed any sort of a threshold, how much of an audience can you actually dwindle from? Well, I've seen some reports that this game cost north of $100 million, which is absolutely absurd, especially with the, well, offerings on display. It doesn't really look like it's that intense of a project, but this is 2024. It is Western game developers. This is an overstuffed market, and no, I'm not just talking about the player being highlighted right there. Chances are this won't end up being the biggest flop of the year, only saved as Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Remember, that cost Warner Brothers, and they were loud and proud about the fact that that lost $200 million. So just by simple virtue of this not costing that much to Sony, it's not going to hit those lofty heights. But maybe when you take a look at return on investment, we might have a conversation there. But let's just laugh in the aftermath, because outside of just, I don't know, maybe some revelatory stroke of genius, this game gets super popular over Labor Day weekend and, I don't know, ends up catching a second life in its second weekend of release, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Concord players report over 8-minute wait time just to simply get into a game. Not because the netcode is borked or anything like that. It's just nobody's playing this stuff, bro. Firewalk Studios Concord died right out of the gate, and the game's corpse is quickly being buried. As one player reported, he had an 8-minute wait time on Monday, August 26th. Not just barely out of the release weekend frame, and yeah, you're already waiting nigh on 10 minutes. Double-digit wait times, holy. Concord went live on Friday, August 23rd, and only had a peak concurrent player count of 697, 70% decline, yes, back from the open beta in July, where it hit a peak of 2,388 players, which would be great for an indie game, but this is, you know, a full-throated AAA first-party backed release. The player counts did not improve over the weekend, and in fact declined by over 40% by Sunday, yes, with the game's peak concurrent of about 402. About 402? Yeah. And as we're sitting middle of the week, well, we're hitting maybe the top end of 200. Like, it's really bad. You know, on Monday, August 26th, the game hit a 24-hour peak of just 276 players, 60% decline from Friday when the game launched. As player counts continue to decline, the people who are actually playing the game are experiencing exorbitantly long matchmaking times. Reddit user Wiki09 admitted he waited at least 8 minutes, then got timed out. Oh, didn't even get into a game after 8 minutes. Just waited and ended up getting time out. Okay, decided to play something else and come back on peak hours, which are when exactly? But when would be peak for Concord? Never. This game, it doesn't look promising at all. Player did add that he was located in Belgium and was playing on PlayStation 5. Ooh, that should be the most bountiful player base, right? I don't know if there's crossplay or anything like that, but now that we're starting to figure out who's exactly playing the game on PS5, those low watermarks on Steam might actually be the high water marks for this game. On top of the Steam concurrent players falling, the report from the player waiting over 8 minutes for a game and then timing out. Another report from True Trophies indicates the game did not even have as many players on PlayStation compared to its initial early access or open betas. True Trophies reports no one is collecting Concord trophies on PSN. Firewalk's first PS5 game is in 147th place on our popularity chart. For clarity, True Trophies explains that the chart is made using a representative sample of 3.1 million active PSN accounts, not just True Trophy accounts courtesy of Game Insights. To provide some color, which this game is full of, so you would have thought that with all the representation on display, it should have been doing something. The outlet reported the game ranked 29th, in both early access and open beta back in July. The outlet's Kess Ayers Stevenson shared, using the gameplay data sample from over 3.1 million active PSN accounts. We can see that Concord has 8.1% fewer players in the second open beta than the early access, locked behind pre-orders or knowing somebody with a pre-order code beta account. Holy! He added, in our PlayStation chart, the ranks in a top 40 most popular games every week. Concord ranked in the 29th position. Both weeks, 29th for a brand new AAA release. And yeah, you can see from the screenshots, if you have been unfortunate enough to cross some gameplay footage, this game is trash, and it deserves the fate that it wrought for itself. This game is terrible. This is what happens when you get a bunch of gender studies enthusiasts together in a room, get them to design a hero shooter, make it as woke and as humanly possible, allow them to see their trappings fail in real time. You get what you deserve. Okay, and then when you get mass media, but then when you get PC Gamer run cover for Concord for Big Daddy Sony, remember when journalists used to have a responsibility to hold these institutions to account? When they used to pride themselves on asking tough, probing questions? Me neither, but I was affirmed that there was a point in time where that actually did happen. But games journalism, it's always been muddy waters. It's kind of like the White House. You take a look at a Democrat administration, the open pipeline between big tech and the White House is just as open and nauseating as you can see from any of the big review outlets, the IGNs, GameSpots, PC Gamers, and people going on later in life to bolstering their own personal CV. Working at Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, one of the other big AAA developers. It's very strange. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, right? It's coincidental when they write pieces like the eagerness to dance, to grave dance on unpopular games has become a bad habit. No, because you freaks are the ones that wrote the Gamers Are Dead article. You're the ones that are trying to infuse everything with your own personal politics. You're the ones that are trying to make these the battlegrounds, but when nobody shows up and it's just you waving your progress pride flag around, and then you wonder why nobody else wants to show up to your woke parade, you don't get to cry and play victim, because you're being the cry bully in this situation, and we remember your tactics. Sony hero shooter Concord launched late last week, and Steam concurrents haven't yet topped 1,000. They never will. The dramatically low turnout has already earned the title of the biggest flop of the year on social media, and if you've caught any of the discussion on Reddit, TikTok, and other platforms over the weekend, you mostly saw people gloating, posting screenshots of SteamDB concurrency charts, and tagging on a generic dunk rather. The entire game's just trash, so yeah, dump is appropriate too. Or claiming it rules when we can all see a big game fail. That jubilation over Concord's low turnout, it apparently cracked the top 50 bestsellers on the PS Store. Yeah, over the weekend. Yeah, 49, I guess, is within the top 50. Just barely, but you did it. Derives of some degree of I told you so sense of justice, the idea that out-of-touch, creatively bankrupt executives are cynically chasing trends, and that the rest of us would have the common sense to avoid releasing a Concord, Marvels of Angels, Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights, Tales of Kenzara's Dustborn, Flintlock, Alan Wake 2. Hell, you can even go bigger budget than that. Spider-Man 2 still hasn't made back its money. All of these games that dance with the devil in the form of these woke consultancy companies, you get what you deserve. Why should I take pity on the people that intrinsically hate me? Because I've played games for as long as I can remember. I don't care if you personally feel bad, but your work speaks for itself. If you get fired because you were programming this schlock, sucks to suck, I guess. Memes like this, you're laughing, Sony spent $300 million on Concord. I seen that it was somewhere in the realm of 100 million. Could be. No firm numbers that I've seen confirmed. And on release couldn't break 700 concurrent players, and you're laughing. Yes, very loudly, because everybody knew this was a bad idea. They could have delayed it, they could have fixed it, but they decided to push forward. We've seen multiple reports that Firewalk was just going to brush off any criticism. We know we have a great game. It's a diverse game. It's a wonderful game. And then we're expected to shed a tear for a hubristic studio. Go straight to hell. I can say that very confidently because when there's games that don't want to toe the line in the form of Soulash 2, games that are getting attacked by the same mainstream outlets that want us to shed a tear for Sony first-party studio, also want us to go on attack because they can't convince this a little indie developer, somebody who would spend not $300 million but $300 on their game, to work on an actual passion project that they won't use as a platform for your own personal politics. That's why I don't like you guys. I don't pay attention to what you have to say, because you're not out there for what's best for the industry. You're out there for what's best for your political side. Soulash 2 developer refuses to cater to the big gay mob trying to cancel the game. There's nothing to fear from the oppressive mob trying to force their ideology. And what are they wanting from this game? Okay, Soulash 2 developer Artur Smiarowski refused to cater to the gay mob trying to cancel the game after he refused to include gay relationships in the game. Now you take a look at this, okay? Now it looks like a gamey game if I've ever seen a gamey game before, okay? I don't understand why you would need any sort of gay relationships when you're just trying to, design, farm? Is that what's going on here? Unbelievable. On August 15th, Smiarowski shared an update titled Married with Children, where he revealed, I have the first of 2 parts of my family feature, and you can start your new family on your settlement, marry someone to move into your town or your family and have children with them. Yeah, and it also looks like it's set way back in the cut. So if you were going to be fostering a thriving society, don't really have a need for any of those weirdos. Just saying. He continued, by having your own family, you can also start working at your building and another way to generate wealth, train your potential, or just progress the world by a couple of years while ensuring your legacy lives on after your inevitable doom. Exactly. And see, don't you freaks have some representation right there. She's got weird piercings, right? In the discussion on the updates, Steam users 2023 Subaru Impreza, okay. Hey, Artur, thank you for your hard work. I'm a queer fan of your game. No, you aren't. And wanted to ask if same-sex relationships would be possible in future updates. I know devs like the ones that made a medieval dynasty said that they would consider to put it into the game. I just wanted to see if that's something on your radar and if it would be safe for you to implement in the future. Yeah, I doubt that you're an actual fan. I'm just saying. Thank you for your time and dedication to this game and this community. Oh, yeah, right. Fantastic. Smiarowski responded, the main purpose of the family system is to create a legacy through children, and given our limited ways to interact with NPCs, I don't think that there's a good way to represent those relationships. So I don't plan to expand that right now. More extended interactions where someone that some players wished was a bigger focus of the game, but unfortunately it would take a long time and probably the removal of conversations and dialogue systems to turn Soulash 2 into The Sims, as well as other games I'm already trying to mix, Smiarowski concluded. We're going to have to see if I ever get excited about it, but right now I'm too pumped to go to war to delay it any further. And I'd imagine this is when the reeing started to continue. Oh wow, look at that! I'm a longtime fan of this game and then started to spurg out. Go figure. Developer banned me from Soulash 2 community for asking him to implement same-sex marriage. I doubt that that's the reason why. The same way he implemented heterosexual relationships, he enabled the community to harass me with homophobic rhetoric. There it is. There it is. Infusing your own terrible ideas. It's literally the meme where it's the feminist, taking a shovel full of shit, throwing it over the wall, seeing it thrown back and going, help misogyny. And this time it's just help homophobia. Addendum, I'm disappointed in the route the developer is currently taking, trying to spin the narrative of organized gay review bomb. Well, what did you expect was going to happen? And the reality is he destroyed his current community for money and replaced them with people who hate with hate in their hearts without a second thought to the people he might hurt in doing so. Do better, Artur. The actual meme person, okay? You're a lesbian talking about representing yourself online as a Subaru. There's a reason that you've got 90 clowns on Steam. Just saying. Salty Snow wrote, I had high hopes for further developments in this game, and it appears to have great potential. Unfortunately, I can't recommend the support to this game. The developer signaling racist. Here we go! And anti-gay politics in his design choices. No, he wants to foster a community. You can't do that by rubbing dicks together. You can't create a baby doing that. You can sure as hell buy one in the real world, but not in the game. Oh, but take a look at this review right here. This one's hilarious. Hard-coding marriage to be exclusively heterosexual so that modders can't even add same-sex marriage is weird, man. Is really weird, man. Interesting. That's probably those same people. Freak out and cheer when places like Nexus Mods bans any sort of mods that would get rid of pronoun inclusion or any sort of trigger warning screens. Very interesting. Very interesting display of morality that you have here from these freaks. Arthur continued to go along, and he got, awfully spicy, but he is not backing down at all whatsoever. And now you can see right here at time of writing and time of recording too, the game went from having, very positive reviews to mostly positive reviews, just going to show you that the mythical modern audience that's out there, yeah, it's so much smaller It's so much more irrelevant than regular people that just want to play a game, don't want to be hit over the head with all of this nonsense, and that by fighting back, you just expose them for the cowards, the bullies that they really are. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.